My oatmeal pie recipe without corn syrup and with coconut is an easy and delicious old-fashioned dessert. Here in this bowl, I have 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I use 2 tablespoons for the pie crust, so if you're using a store-bought crust, just go ahead and use 1 full stick. I'm going to use 1.5 cups or 120 grams of old-fashioned oats. Some of the recipes called for quick cooking oats. I think you could use both. Like I said, I'm going to add some coconut. I'm just going to add right now 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of sweetened flaked coconut. Like I said, I'm making this oatmeal pie recipe without corn syrup, so I'm adding a good amount of brown sugar, 1 cup, or as I measure, 240 grams light brown sugar, 3 large eggs, and over here I have 1 tablespoon of milk. I'm using skim because that's what I have. I think a little bit of extra milk will help to not only tone down the sweetness, but also add some extra moisture. Oatmeal tends to just absorb moisture, so I think a little extra is a good idea. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Everyone loves brown sugar and cinnamon in oatmeal. 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Here I have my 9-inch pie crust. It's unbaked. Of course, mine is homemade, but feel free to use your own recipe or store-bought. The first step in my oatmeal pie recipe is melting the butter in the microwave. So once I get that done, I'll bring you back. My butter is melted. I'm preheating my oven to 350. So now all I have to do, since this oatmeal pie recipe is so easy, is just mix all the ingredients together. I'm gonna add in the oatmeal, the coconut, the brown sugar. I am going to add the eggs last because the melted butter is hot. And if you add eggs to melted butter or anything hot, they could cook. So I'm gonna add everything else to bring down the temperature of the melted butter, and then I am going to add the eggs. Add the milk, the salt, the cinnamon, the vanilla, and I am going to stir. I tasted the filling and it's really good. I ended up adding a little more coconut for a total of 1/4 cup or 60 grams. But this is the first time I'm making this, so as always, it's easier to add more later than to take away. This is kind of dry. I might have to add some milk or something. I'm gonna add in the eggs. Actually, I'll probably beat them a bit first, just to break them up a little bit. And then I am going to add them in and see if I need to add more moisture. I just got done mixing in the eggs. I think it's gonna be okay without any extra liquid. I'm glad I did add the 1 tablespoon of milk, but I think it'll be okay like this. I don't wanna add too much liquid because, like pecan pie, I like the crusty top. And if you add too much liquid, it won't get that crusty top. Here's my unbaked 9-inch pie shell. I'm literally just going to pour it in. And now I'm going to bake this at 350 uncovered for, I am guessing, 45 minutes. I just pulled my oatmeal pie out of the oven. It was in at 350 Fahrenheit uncovered for 45 minutes. It looks and smells amazing. The first thing I noticed about this pie was that both the filling and the crust were perfectly golden brown. The filling smelled like toasted oatmeal with brown sugar and cinnamon, so I definitely couldn't wait to dig in. Honestly, although my oatmeal pie recipe was a success because it was delicious, I still want to play around with the recipe a bit. First of all, going back to aesthetics for a minute, I liked how you could look at the pie, see the oatmeal in the filling, and know immediately what type of pie this was. In terms of flavor, it had a strong oatmeal flavor, as you would expect, along with the brown sugar and cinnamon in the background, and with a little bit of coconut as well. The flavor is hard to describe, and honestly, I think the best way to describe the flavor of this oatmeal pie is that it tasted like a granola bar. And when I say that this pie tasted like a granola bar, I mean it in the sense that it had a strong flavor of oats, and even though it was sweet, it wasn't super sweet. Actually, it was not as sweet as I thought it was going to be. Instead of being dessert sweet, it was more afternoon snack sweet. The texture of the filling reminded me of a granola bar as well. Although the top was crispy, most of the filling inside of the pie was actually soft and chewy like a granola bar. And now that I'm holding the first slice up to the camera, you can see what I mean. The top of the filling was crispy and toasted, while underneath that there was a layer of gooey, chewy filling. So if you like pecan pie's combination of textures in the filling, you'll really like this. Speaking of which, some people refer to old-fashioned oatmeal pie as mock pecan pie because they say that the taste and texture are similar. However, aside from the texture being similar to a degree, I personally did not think this tasted anything like a pecan pie. Like I already said, I thought that this oatmeal pie was a success, but I would like to make some changes to the recipe in the future. First of all, I would like to try using quick cooking oats. Most of the recipes online call for quick cooking oats, and just a few call for old-fashioned or rolled oats. I originally decided to go with old-fashioned oats because I thought that they would hold up better to baking, and that when you look down at the pie, you would see the individual oatmeal pieces a bit more clearly. And even though that is true, old-fashioned oats are a little bit chewier, and in my opinion, they have a stronger flavor. So in hindsight, I think that using quick cooking oats would help this pie taste more like a dessert and less like a granola bar because the oat flavor wouldn't be quite as strong. In fact, I might take away some of the oats and add more coconut, maybe a total of half a cup of shredded coconut. I think it would combine very nicely with the oatmeal. The brown sugar was good, the cinnamon was good, maybe a little bit more sugar, 2 to 4 tablespoons, but I think that the biggest thing I want to try is seeing how this will work out with the quick cooking oats and replacing a little bit of the oats with a little more coconut. I think raisins or maybe even dark chocolate chips would be nice additions to this recipe as well, so I guess I have some experimenting to do. Those criticisms aside, my Southern style old fashioned oatmeal pie recipe without corn syrup was a big success. It was good, it just had a stronger oat flavor than I was expecting and it wasn't quite as sweet. So if you're looking for something that's not quite as sweet, this would actually be perfect. Actually, made as is, I think this pie has just the right amount of sweetness for an afternoon snack served with a tall glass of cold milk. If you make this, I know you'll like it. As always, thanks for watching.